Through some tough economic times, lots of people have piled up consumer debt, and as too many people have found out firsthand, the deeper the debt, the harder it is to find relief and to repair the damage to credit scores. A book called the DebtClear Roadmap is a guide to helping people find debt relief and protection from creditors and lawsuits. Here with us now is the author of the book and founder of DebtClear, Michael Croy. It's great to have you here.
It's great being here. Thank you.
Are you just what the doctor ordered for a lot of people? And I want to mention one of the reasons that we were so glad to have you is you have an A+ rating on the BBB for your program. Tell us a little bit about how you got into this line of work.
Right. Well, I've been working in the debt relief credit repair industry for almost a decade. I own my own business, DebtClear. But I actually got into it because 12 years ago, I started a business funded on credit cards. And unfortunately, business went under, and I had no choice but to default on my debt. So I personally, know what it's like to the frustration of not being able to pay the bills.
And it's tough. I mean, I think
so
we all know how frustrating it is, but tell me a little bit about how it felt to you. I mean, I know this can be a really demoralizing time in people's lives.
Absolutely. I mean, people are having to make some really hard choices. Obviously you got to keep a roof over your head, got to feed the kids, and unfortunately you have to figure out which bills to pay and which not.
Which not. That is not a good choice. So you learned from your own experience what works and what doesn't work.
That's right.
And what did you conclude?
That's right. Well, I was able to reduce my debt. I had over $90,000 in credit card debt, and I was able to eventually settle that debt for less than 4 cents on the dollar and repair my credit.
Wow.
So the conclusion, really, I think the takeaway from my program is that debt collection, it's a business like any other. And no business is going to spend their limited time and resources chasing the most difficult clients. And what I do is I teach people their rights under federal law, what debt collectors can and can't do, and basically turn them from low-hanging fruit into high-hanging fruit.
So make it a little bit harder for people to go after you, a little bit easier to settle as best you can.
That's right. Yeah. I mean,
my worry would be here, we wouldn't want people to misunderstand and think we're encouraging people to rack up debt or encouraging them to walk away from their responsibilities.
No,
but
absolutely.
Sometimes when you're in over your head and there's no way out, you do have to negotiate to a middle ground where everybody gets something out of this difficult circumstance. So what are the biggest mistakes you think people make when they get into debt?
Well, I agree with you. This isn't about skirting contractual obligations. This is about making hard choices and doing the best you can for yourself, your family, and your financial future. So when it comes to credit card debt, what people need to understand is that's unsecured debt. And there's actually very little a debt collector can do. They can do three things. They can send letters, they can call, and they can sue. Sending letters and calling are inexpensive, and they work on a vast majority of people, and they will try to scare and intimidate you into paying. Of course, they all threaten to sue, but a very small percentage actually do. And I think what's important for people to realize is there's no debtor's jail. Of course, your credit's going to take a hit, but at the end of the day, there are federal laws, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, that regulate the debt collection industry. Because most people don't understand their rights, and because it's simply good business for debt collectors to violate people's rights, they miss an opportunity. And so what I tell people is, if you understand your rights and know how to enforce those rights, you can back down a creditor or even use those violations as a way to zero out your account.
Find a way to get where you need to be.
Yeah.
But of course, people are so emotional during that period of time. You're under such pressure, and you feel horrible about being in that circumstance. You offer these workshops. People come. They learn about these things. It's not terribly expensive. And what can you tell people that they will take away if they attend and listen to this information or pay attention to what's in the book?
So, I just want to be a trusted source for information. And so I don't have an agenda. I just want to empower people with information and tools that they can use to make the best decision for themselves. So I'll teach them all about their traditional debt relief options. I'll teach them about the business of debt collection, asset protection, creditor lawsuits, creditor harassment, what their options are, what their rights are, and then they can decide what's best for them.
What would you think would be the most likely outcome in terms of reducing the amount of debt you have?
Right.
Your ability to settle if you have this information at hand.
Right. Well, I guarantee if somebody follows my program to start to finish, they will be able to settle their debts for less than 20 cents on the dollar, or I will refund 500% of what they paid me.
Really?
Right. And I know this sounds outrageous, but the reason I want to do that is I want them to know I'm willing to put my own money on the line. I mean, again, part of the reason this program is so effective is because I understand the debt collection industry. I've worked with thousands of people. I've been through it myself. And I know that you can get that amount of debt relief. But, like I said, it's all about choices. It's all about information. And so somebody might use this information to settle their debts with the original creditor after 6 months. They certainly will learn how to repair their credit, how to deal with an aggressive debt collector, talk about the state laws, the statute of limitations. Many people don't realize every state has a statute of limitations after which the debt isn't collectible.
Interesting. So information is power for people.
Absolutely.
And I love the fact that you back this up, because there have been many agencies where people don't serve people as they should when they come to get debt relief. So this is something that we can feel good about. Thank you so much, David. We appreciate it. Well, the seminar on DebtClear, the roadmap, is on Saturday. Or rather, Michael, I'm so sorry. Did I just call you David? I've got something else going on in my head. Michael is doing his seminar, and it will be from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and this is on February 29th. Do I have that
25th.
correct? 25th. Let's start this over again. Michael is leading a seminar on the DebtClear program on Saturday, February 25th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Washington State Convention Center. It's going to cover everything from protecting your assets to fighting creditor harassment and restoring your credit rating. Do not listen to me. I obviously do not know what I'm talking about, but Michael does. As a special offer for New Day viewers, you can get $50 off admission by using the code NDNW, New Day Northwest. Details and ticket information will also be on our website. You don't have to try to remember this and write it down right now. And as a bonus to our studio audience today, you're all going home with a digital copy of Michael's book, The DebtClear Roadmap. So please use that. Give it to somebody who needs it. If you don't, thank you very much, Michael Croy. We appreciate you being here. After the break, one of the most intriguing women from Seattle's upcoming Guiding Lights weekend. She's helping moms everywhere influence national policy. We'll meet her next.